Any issues about the basics? When it is, where it is, you get your seat number off of Classroom. And I don't have to describe, you guys did the whole seat number thing last year for the Regents, right? So I don't have to describe because you get there was confusion in my freshman classes. Why do I have a letter and a number, but you guys are all good? The letters are going to be across, numbers on the side. You find out where you match up and you sit down. All right. Any issues with what you need to bring? Reminder, no constructions, and it's nice. One less thing you got to study. Everything else, I'm not going to bring any extras. I'm not going to bring any extra calculators, so make sure they're charged and ready to go. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to clear the memory because we are going to have you clear your memory before you start. And any issues on the parts? And I did go over yesterday, this counts just as much as a quarter grade does. Did I go over that math yesterday? I think I did. All right, trying to push the seriousness of this. All right, that it counts just as much as 10 weeks of a school year does. All right, well, let me start here. I asked you guys, I'm not going to check it. We got a grade that's a 6th of your overall course grade on the line. And I don't think I need to give away 3 points to motivate you to try this stuff out. So anything here on midterm review number 1, all the answers. And I did a pretty detailed answer key up on Classroom, so hopefully you take advantage of that. Please ask a question because you did it and you weren't too sure where to go. I don't want questions from people who didn't do a darn thing. All right, I'm not interested in that at all. I only want questions from people who tried some of these problems out and you were really stuck. Even looking at my answer key, you were like, all right, I need some further explanation here. Anything we want to go over here? And again, I'm trying to drive this home. We're not curving this. Okay, if you end up not passing, you're going to end up not passing. And we're not going to curve it up so you pass. Let's go, Rachel. Start us off somewhere.
6.
6.
I just didn't know how to define if it was HL.
Okay, so let's quadrilateral. This is isosceles. Vertex is W. Okay, so let me start right here. Vertex is W. Remember, in an isosceles triangle, you have 2 sides that are congruent and you have 2 angles that are congruent. The angle that is not congruent to the other 2, so this one right here, that's what we call the vertex angle in an isosceles triangle. It is the angle not congruent to the others. So if W is my vertex angle, I know that these 2 have to be the congruent sides. Good on how I know those 2. Even though it doesn't say RW congruent to WS, I know those 2 have to be the congruent ones because if W is the vertex angle. All right, let me keep going. I have perpendicular lines that form right angles here and here. And it also tells me that W is a midpoint of UT. So definition of a midpoint, those are equal to each other. All right, now YHL. Remember, this is the hypotenuse of a right triangle across from the right angle. And the other 2 sides are called legs. All right, so you see here, SW is your hypotenuse, and WT would be your leg. So that's where I get out HL. All right, that's where I get HL from. All right, okay. Why don't I, somebody explain to me, why don't I circle side angle side? Is the right angle in between? No, so that can't be side angle side. And if we're circling number 2, we got bigger issues than passing this midterm. Okay, side angle, never a way of proving triangles congruent. So even if I had no shot of knowing what to do, that at the very least I could have crossed out choice 2. That's never a method, ever. Right? So everyone see HL? Only can happen in a right triangle as well. Only in a right triangle. Other problems that you tried and got stuck on? Nate Dogg, let's go. 8, you got it. All right, partitions. Let's review line segment. Yep. All right. So with partitions, we find an X coordinate and we find a Y coordinate. First thing, I look at the ratio. The ratio is 5:1. That tells me how many congruent parts am I going to break AB up into if it's 5:1. 6 congruent parts. That's a big number to use here. So the first step is with my X's, my first X is 2, and I'm going to 8. Everyone see that? From 2 to 8 on the X-axis. You have to figure out how many units is that? From 2 to 8, how many units am I traveling? 6. So I go 6 units. And you guys just told me, hey, you have to break that up into 6 congruent parts. So I take the 6, divide it by 6, and I go 1 unit. So every time you want to break AB up, you go a unit, another unit, break it up, go another unit. But how many times do I want to go 1 unit? It depends on the number, the first number in the ratio. What's the first number in the ratio? 5. So that tells me I got to go 1 unit 5 times. Not once, not twice, 5 times. So I have to go 1 unit 5 times. It's always the first number in the ratio. So that tells me I have to go 5 total units from where I started. And we already talked in step 1, where did I start on the x-axis? 2. So 2, go 5 more units, you end up at 7. That's just the x-coordinate. So my new x-coordinate is 7. All right, next up, y-coordinates. I'm going from 4 to 10. How long is that? Also 6 units. Again, divided by 6 because I'm cutting it up into 6 congruent parts. 6 divided by 6, 1. And again, don't get confused here. I'm still going 1 unit 5 times. I don't look at that second number in the ratio. I always look at the first number. So I'm still going 1 unit 5 times for a total of 5 units again. This is just coincidence that they're both the same. But what y-coordinate did I start at now? 4. So from 4, I travel 5 units up and I end up at 9. I am going to give you scrap graph paper next Tuesday. Use it for the partition problems. Graph A and B, and make sure, grab your straight edge, draw in AB, and make sure 7 9's on there. Okay, you guys have 2 hours. This test is probably designed for you guys to finish in an hour and a half, but you have 2 hours total, as you know. Graph AB, make sure 7 9 lands on there. Okay, make sure 7 9 lands on there. Partition question on there, probably a good chance a partition question will be on there. Maybe 2. You never know. Nate, you good?
Yeah.
And that won't be the last time in the review. I'm sure you see partitions. Other questions you want to ask? Yep. 5. Let's take a look at 5, everyone. Clear all this out. All right, find x. Everyone, quick. 100. How many? Almost gave that away. How many degrees in a triangle? Oh boy.
180.
180, right? 180 degrees in any triangle. Remember, I don't care if it's a triangle within a triangle. Any triangle I see up here has 180 degrees in it. So let me first start with this triangle right here. How many angles do you know in that triangle? 2. They add up to 120. So that means how much is left over for the third angle? So this angle should be 60. Everyone's with me? All right, let me highlight another one in light blue. How many angles do you know in this triangle? 2. They add up to, oh boy, 90, 155. So how much is left over for this angle here? 25. Everyone see the middle triangle here. In the middle, the smaller one. How many angles do you now know in that triangle? 2. They add up to 85. So what's left for that angle right there? 85, 95? All right, we're getting there. What is the relationship between the 95-degree angle we just found and x? These two are linear pairs, so they're supplementary. So x is going to equal 180 minus 95, 85? 85. So again, that's one way. Maybe there's other ways I could have gotten to x, but 180 degrees in every triangle. So I start finding other angles I don't know, and finally it led me to x. Anything else here? Again, I got a topic for today, but I'll answer any of these review questions you want. Going? All right, you ready? Here's my topic today, quadrilateral properties. I just want to go over all the figures and the properties because you're going to get a heavy dose of them on the midterm. And I wasn't here for that, so I want to make sure we are clear on all the properties. All right, you guys had three types of families, right? First type of family you guys had was the parallelogram family. So let's go over parallelogram first, and then the rest of the family after it. There should be 5 properties of a parallelogram. Anybody want to chime them away? 5 properties. Let's go. Abbott, start us off.
Opposite sides parallel.
Opposite sides parallel. Good. We look for alternate interior angles when I have a parallelogram. Opposite sides parallel. Gonna be a long day here, huh?
Opposite sides equal.
Equal. Use your big boy word. Opposite sides congruent. Iris, hello. Opposite angles congruent. Good.
Oh.
Diagonals bisect each other.
Diagonals bisect each other. I thought there was 5. Oh, one more. Yeah, there's.
Is it consecutive angles supplementary?
Consecutive angles supplementary. So 2 angles in a row add up to 180. Yep. There you go. There are your parallelogram properties. All right, off of there are 3 other figures in a parallelogram family, and they are, first one, rhombus. Rhombus. Okay, first thing right off the bat for a rhombus, let's make sure we know all parallelogram properties. That's one thing I don't think that maybe was stressed enough when I was out. All parallelogram properties. So all 5 we just listed, a rhombus also has. Keep that in mind. Oh, they got a little something extra on there too. What else do you know about a rhombus? All sides congruent. Yeah. All sides congruent. Anything else you remember? Bless you. What's up, boss?
Is it like the diagonals form right angles?
Whoa! Diagonals perpendicular. And they bisect each other because it's a parallelogram too. And I think that was it. All sides, diagonals bisect. Yeah, that was about it for a rhombus. All right, what's another figure in that family? Rectangle. First property? All parallelogram properties. Yeah, remember that. There's, let's see, that one, and that one. So a couple extra properties that the rhombus does not have. Nate, dog?
All the angles are right angles.
All right angles, yep. Yep. Oh, I'm not saying much here today. What else?
Oh, they diagonals form one. Diagonals are equal.
Diagonals are congruent.
Congruent.
Stop saying equal. And I'm not too sure if you went over this one, but I'm going to add it in because it's very, 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 very helpful. Where's my rectangle? You don't have to draw a rectangle, but I just want to show you where this property comes from. So there's my rectangle. What did I just draw in? Diagonal. What did I just draw in? Diagonal. What do you know about the two? They're equal, and because it's a parallelogram, they bisect each other. So if that's 10, and they bisect each other, what should I know about all four of these pieces? They're all congruent to each other. So my fourth property is going to be the diagonals form four isosceles triangles. Yes, diagonals form four isosceles triangles. And I just show you that property because now if these are isosceles, aren't the angles across equal as well? Okay, so that's in a rectangle, four isosceles triangles. And then I'm not going to put it up here, but what's the final polygon? Square, and that's everything we listed. The golden child, right? The square. It's got every single property. All right, every single property of the parallelogram family the square has. All right, ready to go to the second family? What was the second family? You got the parallelogram family, and then you had the trapezoids. So you had the OG, the original one there, just trapezoid. Not very, I don't even know what I'm looking for here. Not very exciting because it only has one property. Anybody remember the property from a trapezoid? The property, that's it. Yep, go ahead, Anna. One
pair of opposite sides parallel.
That's it. One pair of opposite sides parallel. That's it. That is it. And then you remember the souped up version? Version 2.0? Isosceles trapezoid. Yeah, that had some more features. It's still a trapezoid, right? So it still has one pair of opposite sides parallel. What else? What about the other pair? They're congruent. Anybody remember what they called the other pair? These were called the bases. Real quick vocab here. Where's my trapezoid? So these sides, the parallel sides, were called the bases. Anybody remember what the other ones were called? Legs. Legs. And what'd you know about the legs then? Legs are congruent. Yep. And actually, there's a fourth property I forgot about. What else you got for me? Legs are congruent. Base angles are congruent. Now, what do we mean by base angles? Okay, yep. Everyone says base, everyone thinks of bottom, and you're correct. But also, don't forget, those two are equal. Those are also considered base angles. Sorry, base angles congruent. And one more property, if I drew them in. If I drew them in,
Diagonals
what about them?
are
Ooh. Are congruent. Wow, huh? A lot of properties here. So trapezoid family, one more, and I'll get you guys off and you can do some work. The last family, I call it the outcast of the quadrilateral group. The outcast, the kite. Some of you could probably relate. Too early for jokes? Sorry. Kite. I don't think I have a kite here. I have a diamond here. I guess I can use. That looks good. All right, what do you know about a kite?
The longer diagonal bisects the shorter diagonal.
Okay, longer diagonal bisects the shorter. Good. Another big property here we're leaving out.
Diagonals form rings.
Diagonals are perpendicular. I think that's really about it. Also, I'm not going to write it down, but remember adjacent sides are congruent, but the opposite sides are not. It's a kite. I think that's really about it. All right, so there's your quadrilaterals. You're going to see a good helping of quadrilaterals on the midterm. Anything else you want to ask? I don't have any questions for you because your questions you're going to do on your own in your packet. I just want to make sure we get the properties down. All right, you know where you're going. You got about half the class to practice. Please have let's go. I can't have you guys do problems without knowing if you're doing them right or wrong. So let's get your Chromebook out, get the answer key out, do a few questions, check your answers, work with anybody who you want. We're on review number 2. If you still have questions blank on review 1, that's your deal to get to it on your own. All right, but we're all on review 2 right now. Review number 2. You're going to start seeing some problems repeat themselves as well, some topics.